Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Chantelle. Today I thought I would show you two line art pieces that I made in my sketchbook. I call them original pieces because I'm really happy with how they turned out. So I thought I'd just go through the process from start to finish. So the first thing that I did was I completely taped the paper down so that it didn't buckle so much. It's quite a full sketchbook, so it really did buckle, but this was kind of the best that I could do. Then I wet the paper just all with clean water. I used my mop brush to make sure that it was completely drenched. And then I added various shades of blue. I tried to keep the whites so that the clouds would kind of come through as highlights. I've done it before where I've just completely overworked the entire piece and lost the cloud, lost the highlight, and that was really what I was trying to avoid. I used ultramarine, cobalt blue, and then a little bit of Prussian blue and indigo just for a bit of shading, a bit of darkness. As you can see, it's pretty much completely filled, and then I let that dry. That took a long while, and then I wet the other side. So the left piece is a blue sky with clouds, and the right piece is a lavender field it's a photo that I took myself, and I really liked it. It did have some of the sky in it, but I kind of cropped it. I thought it would be best to just have the lavender, and that was kind of it, and a little bit of the field in the background. Just keep it nice and simple. So I wet the paper again, and then I put in it was like 2 different types of purples, and then I added some green underneath, and this is all completely wet on wet. I just gradually layered the pigment whilst the paper was still wet, taped down as well, and luckily the tape didn't peel or anything, so that was good. Then I added some areas of pink. There wasn't really pink in the original photo, but I kind of thought it would look fun. I didn't want it to be completely just purple and green, so that's what I did. And as you can see, I just layered tons and tons of pigment down whilst it was still wet. And I love the way that the paint just flows together. I really like wet on wet. That's the most common technique that I use. I just find it so fun. So then I went back to the second piece. This one was, I say completely dry. It was pretty much dry by the time I got to it. And this time I didn't do it wet on wet. I just added some shadows, added a little bit of darkness around the clouds, and then I just sort of blended it with a wet clean brush to blend out the edges, soften it a little bit. I tried to keep the clouds, again, as I say, I tried not to go over them too much. Then when I went back to the lavender side, I put in some actual details. I didn't feel like this was really needed in the cloud one, but I think for this one to actually show that it was a lavender field, it really was needed. So I just added some of the closest plants, really. The rest of it I really like to be in a blurry background. I do think there was only the foreground really that needed the detail, so that's all that I added. I just added some purple kind of buds, I guess they are, with a little bit of pink on top, but again, I didn't add too much pink because it wasn't actually in the reference photo. I just thought it was pretty, and that's kind of what I added to it. And then I got a green and I added a couple of stems. I just kind of thought that would add a little bit more to the photo, and it really worked well. It definitely did add more to the painting. Here I just added a little bit of pink, as I said, just to give it a little bit of dimension. I wasn't really feeling it just being purple and green, so I added a little bit of pink. So I only did 2 layers of paint for both of these pieces, just the wet on wet layer and then a slight detailed layer, and I think that worked really well. Then I went in with the white Posca pen that I've got. This is a 0.7mm pen, and I thought this was the perfect size for what I was working on. I just added some various cloud shapes. I did have a reference photo for this, but to be honest, I just kind of went in with the pen and I just did whatever I felt would look nice, to be honest. So it probably could have looked more like clouds if I'd have tried a bit harder to focus on the reference photo, but I just kind of went for it. And this was really fun. I actually really enjoyed it, and I do think it worked really well. But I do think the lavender one, you'll see in a minute, I think that just worked so much better. I really like this idea though, the simple line work. There's a fine line between having too much line work or not enough, but I do really like that, and I was able to stop before it was too much, I think. Then for the lavender fields, I really didn't know. I didn't have any kind of plan for how I was going to do the detailing. So I started off doing just like round buds as though it was the outline, and I did leave some of them blank, but I just did the closest ones. And then I added various dots, and I feel like this really just kind of brought it to life and added a little bit more to it, and this was really cool, I think. I found this so fun though, and it worked really well. I would definitely like to do something like this again. I'm not sure what else I could really try that would be as bright as this one, but I do have a reference video of a similar kind of thing, but it was grass and dandelions and stuff, and that looked really cool, so I might try it for that one. I would like to try it for other areas of landscape, so I'm not really sure what else I could try that isn't plants. Then I just heated up the tape a little bit with a hairdryer and pulled the tape off. Because it wasn't washi tape, because it was masking tape, it was quite hard to peel. This is what the final piece looks like, both of them all completed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I really like both of them. I think they worked so well. And these are up on my Redbubble too. Thanks for watching.